Rig Helios-7 sits 120 miles into the North Sea, operating as a closed system completely isolated from the nearest coastline. 17 crew members lived and worked here, suspended above the water in a facility designed for total self-sufficiency. The official report filed in April 2016 lists a catastrophic structural failure as the cause of the disaster. According to the public record, the platform collapsed into the sea, resulting in the total loss of all personnel. Internal data logs recovered on the site tell a different story. The rig's telemetry shows the support columns remained stable, and the platform's equilibrium never wavered, even as the crew's distress calls reached their peak. These logs show a systematic compromise of the rig's primary survival systems. An intelligent anomaly appears to have dismantled the facility's defenses one by one, targeting the very infrastructure that kept the crew alive. Analyzing these events through the lens of systems engineering reveals a predatory intrusion. The pattern suggests a deliberate effort to isolate the crew by turning the platform's own mechanics against them. The first systemic anomalies appeared on day 1. Rhythmic vibrations traveled through the lower support columns, while the surrounding water lost its reflective properties, appearing as an unnatural, light-absorbing black mass, even under the rig's heavy floodlights. This sonar interface shows the scale of the anomaly. While ocean floor topography registers clearly, a massive, shifting void appeared directly beneath the structural pylons. The diagnostic system failed to recognize this mass as a solid object, returning only a blank space in the data. By the second day, physical security failed. A 200-pound steel access door was found swaying on its hinges. Although the door was electronically locked and showed no signs of forced entry, it moved as if something had simply walked through it. On day 3, maintenance worker Aaron was walking down a secured corridor when the overhead lights flickered for less than a second. When the power returned, the corridor was empty. Aaron had vanished in the time it took for a single circuit to reset. Search teams found deep drag marks scored into the metal walls near the site of the disappearance. These marks were coated in a highly reflective, oily black substance that didn't match any known lubricants or chemicals stored on the platform. The lack of damage to the locks and the speed of the abduction suggests the anomaly bypassed the rig's heavy architecture without engaging physical barriers. On day 4, the intrusion moved into the rig's internal power grid. The platform's lighting systems began operating in a sequence that appeared calculated rather than accidental. Every light on the rig flashed 3 times in unison, followed by exactly 5 seconds of total darkness across all decks. During these intervals, the crew reported the sound of movement inside the walls of the structure. The communication network began broadcasting audio mimicry. Standard radio frequencies were replaced by the sounds of the crew's own voices, layered on top of each other in a distorted, overlapping loop. This waveform analysis shows the anomaly's interaction with the crew's speech. Radio operators heard their own words being transmitted back to them before they had finished speaking them, as if the system was predicting their voices in real time. While coordinating an evacuation, Laura consulted the digital mapping system for a safe route. The blueprint began shifting, manifesting new corridors and dead ends that didn't exist in the actual architecture, herding the survivors into impossible spaces beyond the rig's limits. By reconfiguring the internal mapping data, the entity effectively turned the platform into a trap, using the digital systems to isolate the remaining survivors. The final 6 survivors barricaded themselves in the main control room, powering down all non-essential equipment. They recorded the sound of something heavy dragging itself through the metal corridors toward their position. A voice matching Aaron's reached them through the internal intercom, calmly asking them to open the door. The audio then shifted into a layered, distorted frequency that stated, "We are already inside." The sealed door disengaged and opened slightly. In the gap of the red emergency lighting, they recorded a shifting, unstable silhouette with impossibly jointed limbs, dripping with the same black substance found on the lower decks. The final fragmented transmission from Helios-7 ended with a frantic warning that it's not below anymore. The transmission concluded with a layered voice declaring, "You let us rise." Rescue teams arrived 48 hours later to find a completely abandoned facility. There were no signs of a struggle or a successful evacuation, only the black residue staining the walls of the empty control room. Helios-7 remained structural while acting as a conduit for a predator to reach the surface. Vessels passing through these coordinates today continue to report massive, dark anomalies pacing them just beneath the surface before disappearing into the deep.